Avoid being scammed.
We live so much of our lives now online, it's inevitable that we have to divulge some personal information in the process. But that doesn't mean we should be held hostage to unscrupulous scammers.
My heart dropped. I can see the transactions coming out of my bank account, 5,000, 10,000. The horror,
I got done up like a kipper, basically.
In the last year, the UK has lost almost £500 million to internet scams.
I saw my balance and it said 0. I just felt physically sick.
I've lost all this money. You've not lost it. It's been stolen.
The scammer's victims are left out of pocket and vulnerable.
It starts to make you doubt almost everything.
These guys out there know so much about me, and I've not given permission for that.
I felt stupid. I felt like completely humiliated by it.
My mum Mavis and I are uncovering invaluable lessons for all ages as we look how to stay safe online and avoid the fraudsters' traps.
The more information that the scammers have on you, the more problems you have.
The bank will never, ever ask you to move money.
As well as meeting the people working to apprehend the fraudsters responsible.
So we can protect ourselves from the dirty, rotten scammers.
Today, we reveal the sinister threats fraudsters will make to convince us to part with our cash.
I've been sworn at, I've been threatened. The bloke said that we'd lose our home, he'd ruin our marriage.
We'll hear about the lengths scammers will go to when extracting every penny.
Well, in that case, he said, I'll have to send one of my chaps to you to get your card, to take it to the bank, to get some money.
Our fraud experts will be revealing their essential know-how to keep us alert to the scammers' tactics.
People think, oh, isn't he a nice man or woman, and they really care about my future. They don't. They're just trying to get hold of your money. So don't part with it.
Christmas time can be one of the most stressful financial periods for so many people. It's a time when we just want to know our money's secure.
Yes, and when we're feeling vulnerable, the scammers will prey on those insecurities.
Well, we're meeting up with Sharon, who in December 2020 caught a cynical conversation with a scammer, all on her home CCTV, as they convinced her to move her money into a safe account with devastating consequences. Mother of 3, Sharon from Worcester, was alarmed when she received a text message, allegedly from her bank, warning her of some unusual activity on her Amazon account.
So tell me what happened that made you get in touch with us?
I looked at my phone and it says, basically, someone's been trying to use your account online at Amazon. If this was you, ignore. If this wasn't you, press no. So I pressed no. This woman rang me more or less a minute after I pressed. It was like that.
Instantly?
Instantly. And she said, oh, someone's been trying to scam you. Have you ever been to Liverpool? I said, no. I said, it's lockdown, I haven't been out the house. You know what I mean? Why would I go to Liverpool for?
Sharon's husband suggested she hang up and call her bank directly to check with them.
And my husband said to me, I'm going to ring the bank, I'm going to ring the bank. And the woman says, no, 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 don't ring the bank, don't ring the bank.
She told you not to ring the bank?
Yeah.
Did you think that was a bit strange that she said that?
I was in a panic.
Yeah.
My head wasn't straight.
Sharon had been scammed before, back in 2017, when crooks cloned her credit cards. She was terrified it was going to happen all over again. So, thinking she was speaking to a representative from the bank, she did exactly what the lady on the other end of the phone told her to do.
And what was she asking you to do then on that telephone call?
She was saying that I think we should open a new account to be the safe side. She goes, you know, another Halifax account, because this is the second time this account's been compromised.
So she knew that you'd been scammed before?
Oh, did she? Where do you think she got that kind of information from?
God knows. I don't know. I mean, she was chit-chatting and I was chit-chatting back.
So she was quite friendly with you?
Yeah, she was. Yeah, she sounded lovely on the phone, do you know what I mean?
reassuring you that it was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Feeling she could trust the woman, Sharon moved all of her money.
I transferred £4,000 into what's believed to be a new account that I was supposed to get the cards through the next day. And if I ain't got the cards through the next day, then the bank will get in touch with me at 10 o'clock.
So did you get a call the next day?
Yeah, I did out. So I rang the bank, and that's when I found out I was scammed. And I was in such a state, I couldn't think, I was crying, and my husband heard me crying, he came down, what's the matter? And he went, oh no, it's all our money.
Did you report it
straight away
to the police?
I reported it to everybody.
And Sharon had evidence too. Her home security in her kitchen was recording the whole conversation she had with the scammer on speakerphone.
We're checking the account, mate, the details in Halifax. You want to take that? I said, no.
Yes, so the account department has set the amount for transaction.
The extremely calm, professional manner of the scammer shows how Sharon and others like her can be duped into thinking a scammer is the real deal. But she's kicking herself after missing one telltale sign they weren't who they said they were.
I memorised the bank number off by heart. The number they rang me on, there was 1 digit difference, and I didn't realise.
And the experience left devastating consequences for Sharon.
I feel ashamed.
Oh, don't feel ashamed.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't eat for a week.
Oh,
I felt
Sharon. From what you're telling us, it all seemed very, very plausible and professional. She was lovely.
Yeah.
Sharon has asked us to find out why she was targeted for a second time and how she can prevent it from happening again. So we've set our team of ethical hackers to work, a group of elite tech experts who've come together to fight cybercrime.
Hopefully we can go away and provide a bit more clarity and some answers for you.
Yeah. Please let me know the outcome.
We will do.
Well, thank you so much.
Our ethical hackers will be getting to the bottom of what happened to Sharon to protect her in the future. And we'll be meeting back up with her later in the show to reveal exactly what she needs to do.
Quite often, when someone is scammed more than once, like in Sharon's case, it means they could have been added to what's known as a target list, sometimes called a suckers list. I'm on my way to meet Amber Burridge from the Fraud Prevention Service, CFAS, to see if she can help me understand what this means for someone who's on a list.
Target lists, sometimes called suckers lists. Just explain them to me and how they work.
Yes, so criminals will collaborate with each other, just like organisations collaborate with each other. And effectively, if you've got an individual that's been a victim of a scam, they share the details of that individual in the hope that at some point you might be able to target them again because they've got that susceptibility factor. What's really interesting about these lists, though, is that, it will contain personal information such as names and addresses, and they will use it to send out a lot of the kind of mail-type scams that we see, where it kind of says, oh, send us some money, you've won the lottery. We do see that happen.
We've heard from a lot of people who've said since they've been scammed, they've received a large volume of emails, text messages and calls. Would you say that they actually need to change their details altogether?
There are steps you can take. So with your emails, put a spam filter on, use antivirus software to scan some of those emails to try and stop it. And you'll probably notice when you kind of click on a link in some emails, it'll come up with a red cross. Do you really want to go through to this site? Don't ignore that. Just take a second, come back out of it. With your telephone, how many of us have had the same telephone number for years? If you're that concerned, your service provider can help you in terms of changing your number if you really feel that that's necessary. If you get a scam text, forward it to 7726 because then they can have a look to see where is it originated from. And by actually reporting this, we can actually put some emphasis behind it and really investigate who's behind it and stop it targeting other people.
It's good to know there are some actions we can take to make us less vulnerable to being contacted by scammers. Sometimes the pestering is constant, but it turns out Mum's got a good trick to keep them at bay.
I don't know about you, Mum, but I have a list in my phone of blocked contacts. So any time I get a phone call which is dodgy, I'll just put the number as blocked in my phone. And I looked through it the other day. There are about 20 odd, which just goes to show how many nuisance calls I get. Do you get many?
I do get nuisance calls, and I don't tend to have long conversations with them, but then I say, where did you get my number from? What is it you want? You shouldn't be calling me. I haven't given you my number. How dare you call me? And then I put the phone down, and then I keep that number, but then I put 2 words next to it and store it in my phone.
I'd love to know what those 2 words are. I think I've got a good idea.
And that's what happens.
I like it. It's you fighting back, isn't it?
Yeah.
While some fraudsters pester us just out of the blue, others lie in wait for us to contact them, as our next case shows.
So, Mum, we've been sent a video. It's about a lady called Lynne who's lost a huge amount of money in an investment scam. So, should we take a look?
Yeah.
In 2021, retired former kit lady at Middlesbrough Football Club, Lynne, was looking for ways to earn some cash to help support her 90-year-old mum.
She's gone into a care home, which is like £2,700 every 4 weeks. Her money's gone down, and she's had to sell her property now to help pay for the fees. To get a little bit more money would help, even if it's just a bit. It's just been a complete nightmare.
Lynne was hearing a lot about people making money from the digital currency Bitcoin. So in February 2021, she decided to take the plunge and invested €250 through a seemingly legitimate advert she saw on Facebook.
I had no experience of doing the Bitcoin trading, so I'm just following their instructions. They say it's easy, they do the trading for you, and you don't have to have any experience. Hello? After I invested the £250, I got calls from the managers convincing you to put more money in, which I did. Then I had call after call, message after message, wanting me to put more in.
Feeling pressured, Lynne agreed to invest another €3,400. The company asked her to install something called AnyDesk to her mobile so they could take care of her investment.
I didn't know what it was, I'd never heard of it. But I'm just following their instructions as to what you had to do. And they transferred the money where they were supposed to transfer it. I watched every move they made.
Once enabled, the AnyDesk software can allow someone to take control of your computer. In a professional and safe environment, this has its benefits, but in the hands of a scammer can have devastating consequences.
They had full control of my phone, which I didn't understand at the time. And they could also see any previous pages I'd looked into.
At the time, Lynne was in the process of selling her mum's apartment for £42,000. And suddenly she was receiving more calls harassing her to add that money to her investment.
I had to put money in up to make the volume up to £10,000 or €10,000. I said, I haven't got that sort of money. And one of them said, oh yeah, but you've got your mum's place, you sold that. And I said, you're not getting your hands on it.
I've got power of attorney for my mum, but there's no way I would be using her money. It's to pay for her care home fees. They keep on and on and on, and they won't take no for an answer.
Now overwhelmed and intimidated, in March 2021, Lynne decided that she wanted to get out of the investment, and she asked to close the account. By this point, she'd invested over £4,000, and she wanted it back.
I'm trying to get the money withdrawn, and they're saying to me, you need to up it to the volume of €10,000. And I couldn't believe it. And I said, there's no way. I've got 10,000 euros, and if I had, I wouldn't be putting it in. I wanted to withdraw my money and close the account. So I was threatened with lawyers and lawsuits.
When Lynne refused the scammers' demands, their calls became aggressive and even threatening. And as evidence, she has started recording the conversations on her phone. Listening to them back now reminds Lynne and her husband of how bad it got.
You can't help me. The only way you could have helped me is to send my money back and close the account. But you won't do that.
Consequences
What are the
again.
consequences? You will find out soon. Oh yeah, that's another threat. You're threatening me again. Absolute nightmare. And all I got from them was, yeah, but you've sold your mum's apartment. You can use that money. I said, I'm not. It's not my money. I just want my money back. And the account closed. And I still can't get anywhere with it. I don't believe a word you say. You know what? Don't believe. I don't believe you. I don't care.
That's shocking. Absolutely shocking. Lynne was eventually able to persuade them to return £1,000 of her money, but the remaining £3,000 is still stuck in the so-called investment, and they're refusing to give it back.
There's nothing anybody can do. I resigned to the fact I've lost that money now. I just can't believe how stupid I've been, really. I am very, very wary of applying for anything now. I don't trust anybody.
The scammers have left Lynne terrified. She's now deleted the AnyDesk app from her phone, but is still harassed with phone calls and is now concerned about her personal details being compromised.
How do you know I've had anything to do with somebody called Jeanette? I know everything. We just don't know what information they're holding, or whether they're passing it on to anybody else. I just don't understand how they can get away with what they're doing. And I just don't want anybody else to go through the same. It's been awful.
It's certainly been a difficult time for Lynne. We've set our ethical hackers on the case to finally get some answers for her and find out how she can make herself more secure going forward. We'll be meeting up with Lynne later in the show to reveal our hackers' findings.
As Lynne found out at a serious cost, investing your life savings can be a dangerous game if you don't have the right experience. I'm meeting with the Financial Conduct Authority to find out the risks and what to consider when thinking about investing your money.
What are the risks surrounding cryptocurrency when it comes to being scammed?
There's a lack of regulation around it. With an authorised firm, you can go to the Financial Services Compensation Scheme or to the Financial Ombudsman Service. So ultimately, you carry a much higher risk investing with someone if they don't have FCA authorisation.
Would it be fair to say that there's always going to be that risk of being scammed?
Yeah, I think that's right. We've done many a case where lots of people will find out who their children are, their grandchildren. So when they phone up, they'll ask how they're doing and say, if you give us your money, you can invest in this, and by the time your granddaughter's 18, think of what you can provide her with. And people think, oh, isn't he a nice man or woman? And they really care about my future. They don't. They're just trying to get hold of your money. So don't part with it.
If people are worried about getting caught out in this type of scam, what can they do to better protect themselves and be aware of it?
If you're thinking about investing, do it with an authorised firm. Ask them what protection they'd have if they lost all of their money. If their response is, well, you won't lose it, it's a great investment, that's highly likely to not be true. Only hand over your money investing in crypto assets if you're prepared to lose all of it. When we receive intelligence, we will put up warnings about firms that we're concerned about. So I would advise anybody, first of all, to check the warning list on the FCA website. Also go to Scam Smart for more advice. Check the register before you hand over your hard-earned money.
It sounds like that's not one decision to take lightly. Time to catch up with our ethical hackers, the cyber superheroes trained to think like the scammers. Ikra has a master's in preventing online crime and has made a concerning discovery about mum of 3, Sharon, who lost a whopping £4,000 in a so-called safe account scam.
Just checking in to see what information you've got on Sharon.
So with regards to Sharon, we did find 3 passwords, and this can be a bit problematic, mainly because of the pattern of behaviour that Sharon uses to set up her passwords. A lot of the times she resorts to using memorable information or information about her, key dates, key names, and this information we were also able to gather on her social media sites as well.
I think this is a good wake-up call for all of us because it's so easy to think of key names or dates that relate to us for passwords.
Yeah, we're all guilty of that, but we all need to change, obviously.
And what has ICRA been able to uncover about Lynne, who lost £3,000 to a so-called Bitcoin investment?
So in terms of Lynne, we did find out that she was involved in the 2019 Facebook data breach, and this was a data breach that affected around about 530 million people that we are aware of.
So the data breach is still ongoing?
It is still ongoing in the sense that we are still learning more and more about the information that is coming out about that.
What's the best thing for Lynne to do then?
For starters, to check what data breaches she has been involved in and to lock down those accounts. And that could be something as simple as just changing a password to a stronger password.
Really good to know. Thanks for that, ICRA.
Thank you so much.
We'll hear more on the revelations ICRA and the team have been able to uncover later in the show.
Our social media accounts can be a treasure trove of data for cybercriminals. And sometimes the information that we're putting out there ourselves can be just as dangerous as what's exposed without our knowledge. I'm off to chat with Mum to find out how open she is on social media.
I think our social media accounts are pretty linked because more often than not, I will put something on my accounts about you. We spend a lot of time with each other, we get on. So if I'm having a nice time, I'll either post a picture or say something that will most probably involve both of us. So I think someone could easily find out more about you through me or vice versa.
Well, I think it's probably, yeah, the first, because you actually do post. You're on various social medias and post more, whereas I'm on a couple and I sort of keep them private, whereas I think yours are more open, so they probably find out more about me through you. And sometimes it does concern me because I do get lots of requests, friend requests for people I've never heard of. Obviously, I just delete them. But if I was the type that didn't and accepted everybody that wanted a friend request from me, I'd feel a little bit more vulnerable and I'd have all these friends that I don't even know. Can you imagine that? Me, friends with people I don't know. It's not happening. Special Constable Matt West has seen the number of attempted scams in his community rise in recent years. We went along as he checked in with someone who's been the target of repeated scam callers.
It's estimated that well over 1 billion nuisance calls were made to people across the UK in 2021. And now one police force in the south of England have made it their mission to clamp down on the phone scammers. Special Constable Matt West is at the forefront of the operation, working hard to stop the fraudsters in their tracks.
I've been with Sussex Police for over 30 years now. Policing's changed a lot in that time, especially in the last few years. The priority is now the victim, so we're there now to support the victim more than we used to be.
Today, Matt's visiting Brenda in Eastbourne, who not long after losing her husband in 2018, became a victim of a phone scam that cost her dearly and has had devastating consequences. Brenda had been receiving up to 40 unwanted calls every day. One morning in 2019, she received a phone call from someone claiming to be from Scotland Yard.
And he said, we've just arrested 2 boys coming out of Curry's in Oxford Street. So I thought, well, why are you telling me? So he said, and they've got your credit card. So I said, I don't think so. I said, I just done my online shopping. I said, never got the card out, put the number in. Yeah, he said, well, you can have 2 cards. I said, I haven't got 2 cards. So he said, how would it be if I was to come down there to you? So I said, what are you coming down to me for? He said, to sort out this card and what have you. So I said, well, you know, if you need to and you have to, it's okay. But I'm not really happy with it. And I said to him, how do I even know you are a policeman?
The man on the phone told Brenda to hold the line.
When it come back, there was a different man on the phone, and he was Constable somebody. He said, I've worked with him, he said, for nearly 30 years. He said, and I can tell you, he is exactly who he says he is. And if he's phoning you up to say that you've got a problem, he will sort the problem out. I said, well, that's very nice of him, but I really don't need him to because I've got the card.
Believing this must have been a mistake, Brenda put the phone down.
I went to phone my brother and I picked it up and he was only on the other end of the line. He'd obviously not put his down. So he said, you put the phone down.
The scammer was not giving up and Brenda started to panic.
As it went on and more questions got asked, it was fear, real fear. Because the way he was talking, it sounded as though he wasn't going to stop at anything. He would have his own way.
Brenda was told that she had to pay £7,000 for the goods that had been stolen by the youths, but she would get it back from her bank.
So I said, well, no, I'm not going to the bank. I said, I don't go to the bank willy-nilly. Well, in that case, he said, I'll have to send one of my chaps to you to get your card, to take it to the bank, to get some money. Oh, and by the way, he said, all the young men that we send out to various people, he said, are policemen.
The scammer kept Brenda on the phone for hours, convincing her that he was there to help, and eventually she gave in. A man came round to collect her card. He went to a bank and took £7,000 out of her account. Feeling intimidated when the bank called to confirm the withdrawal, Brenda felt she had no choice but to authorise it. He even had the audacity to return her bank card and show Brenda the money they had taken out. After phoning up her bank to check on the refund of her £7,000 savings, Brenda discovered she had been scammed.
I've never had a fortune, but I've always been able to pay my way. And I didn't have enough money to pay my way, and I thought, what the hell am I going to do? And I just sat in the chair here and I just broke down and cried. I would say for the first 9 months, I didn't go out anywhere, I didn't want to do anything.
The experience has had life-changing consequences for Brenda, and she became terrified to answer the phone.
If I'm not expecting a phone call, which rarely I am on the landline, I shake.
So in stepped Special Constable Matt. In order to stop scammers striking again, he installed a phone blocker for Brenda, which cuts out 95% of unwanted calls.
Brenda's experience is fairly common. The people that carry out these scams are trying different methods all the time. They're changing all the time. And one of their main routes is through phone calls. We try and support the victims of those scams as much as possible by phone blockers. We pay visits, reassuring visits, come and talk to the actual community members or the victims of scams and advise them about different ways of protecting themselves against scams.
By installing the call blocker, Matt has helped Brenda feel more secure in her own home.
I don't get the shaking that I used to get. Life now is as normal as it can be without Michael. I don't worry about anything.
If you're looking to tackle unwanted calls to your landline, you can also speak to your phone provider, as most now offer a free service to help with this. On smartphones, you can add numbers to a blocked list, reject unknown callers altogether, or set up a Do Not Disturb mode to only allow calls from your specified trusted contacts. Apps such as Truecaller can also help identify who's calling.
If there's one recommendation I could give, is get a phone blocker. It doesn't matter what age you are, a phone blocker will stop those type of calls. We can all be scammed no matter what age we are.
Earlier, we met Lynne from Middlesbrough, who, like Brenda, knows exactly how stressful unwanted calls can be. She thought she was investing £4,000 of her savings in Bitcoin in the hope of making some money to support her elderly mother, but she ended up at the mercy of scammers.
I watched every move they made. They had full control of my phone. They keep on and on and on, and they won't take no for an answer.
Constantly threatened and harassed for more money, Lynne asked for our help, and so we set our elite team of ethical hackers on the case to look into how much of her personal information is now exposed and how she can protect herself going forward. And what they've uncovered is not going to be easy for Lynne to hear.
This is a type of scam called a recovery scam. So fraudsters will keep promising you that if you just put a bit more in, you'll finally get the payout that they've been promising all along. Psychologically, after we've put a lot of money in already, it's really difficult to walk away from that money.
Yeah.
And the scammers are very clever, very manipulative.
Really clever.
And we can find ourselves putting a little bit more in and a little bit more in, but you absolutely must not give them any more money
they're
now.
definitely getting no more.
And so for any future investment, you should do a thorough check to make sure that any company are a legitimate FCA approved company.
I know that now.
That's good, that's something that you're aware of now,
Yes.
to look out for that.
Yeah.
Lynne is still being harassed by the scammers and has tried to block the calls coming through, but they keep changing the number they call from.
It feels like you've been bombarded by these scammers getting in touch with you. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, definitely. It's been going on 5 months now.
It's a long time, isn't it?
I've been sworn at, I've been threatened. The bloke said that we'd lose our home, he'd ruin our marriage.
Oh. And it's horrible that scammers put you in a situation where essentially you didn't feel like you could escape.
Fortunately, we've got some tips from our experts to help protect Lynne moving forward.
If they are calling you off new numbers all the time, you might want to consider setting your phone to not accept numbers that you don't know. Or you could change your number entirely, Lynne, to
that's
one
what
of the scammers don't
to do.
have. Yeah. I think I'd get a new phone if it was me.
Yeah.
A new start with no scammers.
But we've still got some difficult news for Lynne about her personal information.
We do know that your data has been involved in at least 12 different data breaches.
It's not acceptable, is it?
These data breaches go all the way back to 2008. That means that your data has been available for scammers to see and for scammers to access for over a decade. Is that something you were aware of?
Not really, no.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I'm angry over it. They shouldn't have it and they shouldn't be able to use it. But hopefully I'll be a lot more wary now.
Within those data breaches, we also found this. If you could turn over that first white card for us, Lynne. Is that a password you are familiar with?
Yes.
Are you still using that password, Lynne?
Sometimes.
It's available for scammers to see and for scammers to use. You need to make sure you secure all of your accounts. Change your passwords. Right. It'll give you peace of mind.
Well, obviously you've looked into it, so you've managed to get it. So they've obviously managed to get it as well.
It's a lot to take in, isn't it, after everything that's happened?
Yes. It's just a complete nightmare. I'm 68 and I don't really need this.
I'm so sorry this has happened to you, Lynne.
I thought I was fairly strong, but it's hard.
Honestly, we're so sorry you've been through this.
I know.
It's awful. But hopefully from what we're doing today, you're able to move forward and
take control of the situation and have the knowledge and the signs, the things to look out for when it comes to scammers.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you weren't aware that these passwords were out there?
No, I wasn't. Definitely glad I've been put in the picture, so can get it sorted.
You need to completely change your passwords for every account you have.
Yeah, I should be doing that and changing the phone number.
What we'd advise is make a list. Make a list of all the accounts that you've got. Start with your email address and go from there,
yeah.
Step by step.
I think you've done an amazing job, everything.
It's been a distressing time for Lynne, but at least now she knows what's leaving her exposed and how to protect herself to ensure she never has to go through this again.
There's light at the end of the tunnel. There is, Lynne. You're going to feel better, and also you're going to keep the scammers away from scamming you again.
Yes, hope they won't be doing it again if I can help it. It's good to know that you're helping and can see the light at the end of the tunnel at last.
You've got a little bit of work to do, but it's going to be well worth doing it.
Yeah, definitely.
After a difficult journey, Lynne is leaving armed to fend off the fraudsters.
Now I've got all the tools, I've got the good advice, so I know I'm in a much better position than I was, and I'll get it all sorted.
Earlier, we met mum of 3 Sharon, who was scammed out of £4,000 by someone pretending to be from her bank.
I was in such a state, I couldn't think, I was crying.
Our ethical hackers have been hard at work looking into Sharon's case and finding out how the scammers got the information to pull off the con. Sharon is coming back to see us to hear what we've uncovered. Have you heard of phishing before, Sharon?
I've heard of it, but I'm not quite sure what it is.
So phishing or smishing in your case is when you receive an email or a text. You received an Amazon text, and we think this was an attempt by scammers to access your data.
Yeah.
So when you clicked on it, we think this may have been when they gained access to some of your details.
Right.
What we know is Amazon will never ask us for our passwords or personal information via text message. Your scammers, Sharon, asked you to move your money into another account to keep it safe, didn't they?
Yes.
This is called a safe account scam, and all the banks we've spoken to have said there are no circumstances where they would ever ask you to move your money into a safe account. And so anyone saying this to you is a scammer.
And it looks like Sharon's social media profiles might be leaving her at risk too.
Now, it was also very easy for our hackers to find both your name and a previous name. As well as this, they managed to find out a timeline of your life going all the way back to a holiday in Ibiza that you took in 1989.
And that's one of my security questions.
So when you say this is a security question, what do you mean?
I can never remember the password because I've changed the password that many times, and then they turned around and said, right, what's it? Security question, where was your first holiday? Your mother's maiden name and where was you born?
Sharon, this is really personal information that people have got, these scammers have got on you.
It's a nightmare, it's crazy.
You weren't aware that this information was out there, and essentially it means that anybody knows the answer to one of your key security questions to get access to your accounts.
That is scary. That is really, really scary.
And it's something we all do.
Yeah.
But we need to separate ourselves when it comes to our online safety to our personal lives. Your full home address is also publicly available, meaning anyone could match up times that you're away on holiday with your physical address. When we share where we are online, we're not only giving scammers ideas, but also alerting burglars to the fact that we're not at home. But our ethical hackers discovered something even more concerning for Sharon. What we also found was that your details have been exposed online through data breaches, and this is when a company unintentionally makes private information public. Were you aware that you'd been involved in data breaches?
No, I wasn't, no.
Within those data breaches, we found this. If you just want to turn that first white card over.
Well, this one.
That's the one.
Ah, that was one of my passwords.
This is a password that you've used,
Yeah.
and it's now available publicly for scammers to gain access to any accounts that you're using it on.
Wow. I used it for everything.
What accounts?
Facebook, Google, Sky. It was everything. Wow.
Having one password for numerous accounts puts us at serious risk. Once the scammers get their hands on it, they can access our entire online life. And we found more than one of the passwords Sharon uses.
Wow. That is so scary.
What's going through your mind?
Dread. It's being violated all over again. They're getting this information from somewhere on there.
So you currently have passwords that are very similar to those there?
Similar to one of them.
Similar to one of them?
Yeah.
And what account is it connected to, or accounts?
That was connected to all my accounts.
It is essential that we make passwords different for each account, as scammers will try variations once they know one. Software called a password bank can help us save them all. Hearing her personal data has been exposed can't be easy for Sharon, but by strengthening her passwords, keeping them varied, and securing online profiles, she can protect herself from future scams.
Going away now with the information we've given you, you'll be able to overhaul your online profile better. Well, it'll be a lot harder for them to get to you, Sharon. Do you feel as though you've got enough information now to be safer?
Yeah, I think knowledge is the key. You just don't realise that that information is out there for some horrible scammer to see. So I'll be definitely taking this away from me and telling my family and friends how to keep safe online as well.
Sharon did eventually get her money back from the bank, and now she's armed with the knowledge of how to better protect herself online.
So as soon as I get home, I'll be changing all my passwords and getting everybody else to as well.
I was amazed how many passwords Sharon had out there.
Yeah, do try and pick a difficult password. Little things we've seen, like choosing 3 random words, can really make the difference between a password being easy to hack and something so challenging that a scammer isn't even going to try it. It can take a bit of time to tidy up your online safety, but it is time well spent to keep you safe from scammers. How secure are you online? Get smart on scams with the Open University. Learn more about cybercrime and how to stay safe on the web. Head to bbc.co.uk/scammers and follow the links to the Open University.
Sarah Cox has some corkers for you tonight between the covers, including the novel The Night Tiger on BBC Two at 7:30. And on Sounds, Joe Wicks chats to Eurovision star Sam Ryder on what keeps him mentally strong. Listen to the podcast now.
Right now, that rover, Perseverance,